Good afternoon, guys, and welcome back to the channel. And today I have a video that was requested a few months back when I first started modifying, but honestly I forgot about it. So let's go ahead and make it. And we're going to talk about Z1 Motorsports HKS SSQV blow valves. And yes, they're not made by Z1, they're made by HKS, but Z1 did put part of the kit together to be able to make it fit on the VR30. And again, those are HKS SSQV4s blow valves. All right, so the reason I have these blow valves in my VR30 is simply because it does not have a recirculating blow valve system and does not have a ventilating blow valve system. So what does that mean exactly? Well, pretty much anytime the throttle body's closed, all of that pressurized air either travels through the intake piping to the manifold, and it stores what it can in there, and the excess pressure, in this case, it would go straight into the turbo compressor wheels. And to avoid that, that's where the blow valve comes in. By opening up that valve, it allows the excess pressure to go into the atmosphere instead of hitting the compressor wheel. Therefore, it's going to elongate the life of your turbos, and it's going to preserve the life of your turbos. So this is why I have them on my VR30, and why the Z1 kit is ideal for this. I mean, there's some DIY posts on getting your own blow valve systems out there. I would highly recommend venturing into those. Maybe you want to make your own, save some money. That's also a good idea. But the link for the Z1 HKS blow valve system is going to be in the description. So go ahead and check that out, and you guys can, make a determination from there. Now, I did mention one risk of this is possibly damage some components in the turbo. One of those being your turbo shafts and your turbo bearings could become worn out quicker than usual. And essentially what could happen is you could have reduced response in throttle and turbocharging as you're accelerating, and also in between your gear shift change. So that's also something you want to avoid. And it was just enough for me to make a preventative assessment and do something about it now as opposed to later when something does happen. The VR30 platform is still very new. There's a lot of people still trying to figure out what exactly is all under this hood. But at the same time, it was just enough for me to, and based on my knowledge in the past with cars, that I thought it made sense to add this kit to it. And also they sound pretty badass, like I mentioned before, and we're gonna get a clip of that in later on in this video. Now here we have the driver's side blow valve. As you guys can see, one good way to tell that is a legit blow valve from HKS is by the holographic logo. Once you see that logo being holographic like that, that should be a good indication that it's legit. A legit one. There's a lot of replicas out there on eBay, so be very careful when you guys are purchasing these. I've seen people cheap out on them, and they've had some issues with them. So make sure you get the authentic blow valves. Do not cheap out on those, please. And pretty much this is where Z1 came in, and they developed a kit. And essentially it's just a few hoses and clamps to make it work on the VR30. So here we have the intercooler. Intercooler piping goes down, and that right there goes directly straight into the turbo inlet piping. As I mentioned before, this is more like a link in between the manifold and the turbos, which are down there. So all that excess boost pressure, when the throttle bodies are closed, they ventilate out of here as soon as that valve opens, and allows that pressurized air to vent into the atmosphere and creates that cool noise that we all know from a distance. These are pretty loud. Here at the end of the video, I'll show you guys a couple of clips of them ventilating into the atmosphere, but these are pretty loud, and I like to think that they actually sound pretty cool. But you have two options. These do come with a insert that you can take out, and it's more like a whoosh sound. I have my inserts in, which allow to make that squeaky blow valve noise that a lot of you guys have heard. And I think it sounds pretty cool. I posted a video of it early on in my channel, but you're more than welcome to check that out. Over on the passenger side, as you guys can see, this install was not fun whatsoever. These intercoolers had to come up. Oh, these hoses were a pain to put in. Those red in between hoses there were a pain to put in, and it was not a fun install. But I found out that the early sets that came from Z1 were had a bit of an issue being clocked, but that's been addressed long since then. And I was able to put mine in, but it was not a fun install. Now it's pretty close to about 3,000 miles since my last oil change. Now Infiniti does recommend you change oil in this car about every 10,000 miles. throw that out the window. I don't trust any of that. I changed the oil on my cars, all of my NA cars. I've changed them after every 3,000 miles, especially the VQ VHR series and the DEs and all that stuff. Those things eat a lot of oil. But anyway, the VR30 being a turbo platform, it does consume oil quite often, especially when you remove the some of the cats. So with that said, I mean, I'm gonna wait for about 4,000 to 5,000 miles, perhaps maybe more. Last time I did it at 6,000. The Soil Signature series that I use has given me great protection. I haven't had a single issue. So what I'm gonna do is just check the oil real quick before we head out and top it off if it needs to be topped off. And yes, guys, remember to check your oil often. I do it every week. It's just a habit now because I want to make sure I don't have any user error engine failure. So with that being said, I'm gonna top this off real quick and we'll get on the road. Hopefully you guys can see okay. That's what my oil level is right there. The last time I maybe topped it off was when I got back from the track in late November, and seems to be, you know, consuming a little bit, but not too much. Obviously, that was a 1,200 mile trip out there to the track, and did a whole bunch of passes out there at the racetrack, and I think that's pretty good consumption. Last time I filled it, it was just right below the high line, so I'm just going to top it off a little bit just for my sake, and then that should be good to go. So right now we're driving to a spot that I normally shoot my videos when I get out of work, and I do apologize. It's getting a little bit dark outside already. It's 5:15. It's already in another 15 minutes it's gonna be pitch black outside, guys. So bear with me. I'm gonna go to a spot where I normally film my videos. Like I said, I'm gonna put the camera on a tripod, pass by it a few times, let you guys hear the noise loud and clear, and you guys let me know what you think. I've kind of already explained what are some of the benefits of having the blowout valves in your VR30. Drawbacks, the only one that I see is making your wallet a little bit lighter. Agree to disagree, but yeah, let me know what you guys think. There you have it, guys. I just gave you guys some clips of what it sounds like from the outside. I think it sounds pretty darn good. I also threw in a couple of bonus exhaust clips in there for you guys launching off the line. If you guys liked today's video, you guys found it informative, go ahead and hit the like button for me. And also, if you're new to the channel and you like the content, go ahead and smash the subscribe button. I'm new to YouTube. I'm making content there as much as I can. But with that being said, guys, I'll see you guys in the next video. Thanks for tuning in.